with this crazy culture and world that we in, accidents, getting hurt on the job, especially with the way this so-called quote unquote new normal has been over the past couple of years, and with things coming up in the modern world. So I have Chris here, Chris Booberg, is with me, Esquire. So how's it going, Chris?
Everything's good, Marcus. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. You're right out of Virginia. So there's been so many new things rolling out. In particularly, is there anything that stick out that's, as far as law that we should know about in Virginia?
Well, one big thing that affects my practice is that we no longer are able to hold our cell phones in our cars. So that's a big law that just came in recently. And so we are required by law, you will get pulled over now if you have your cell phone in your hands. We are required to go hands-free. So you've got to get somewhere to mount your phone, and you've got to get a system where you either use a speaker or it hooks up through Bluetooth to your stereo. So in terms of traffic and accidents, that's one of the biggest ones. The other thing that's been going on here in Virginia is we're in the process of legalizing marijuana for medicinal use and for personal use. So that's another big legal transformation that has been taking a long time that I really never thought we would see in Virginia, but it's here.
So much progressive things going on. And that other thing is, you would think that like so many people would already be hooking their stuff up to Bluetooth. But as you know, there's still a lot of older cars rolling around the streets, and so many people are just so accustomed to like just holding that phone. They can't. It's like they glued to their faces.
No question. It took me a while. I finally had to order a little stand to put it in so that I would get out of my hand. I was just in the habit of picking it up. Somebody calls, and it's got to be out of your hand. And if not, you're going to get pulled over, and that's an underlying traffic offense. And then of course, if you get pulled over, then they're going to start looking at whatever else you might be up to, whether you got a suspended license or whether you have something in the car that you shouldn't, or you've got an outstanding warrant. So if you want to stay clear, you need to make sure you're not holding your cell phone in your hand.
Indeed. I definitely want to circle back to both of those because we're going to switch gears just a bit here because what we're going to go into, definitely, ties into to both of those things. Particularly how long have you been in law and what are the specific areas that you serve in?
Well, right now, and for the past 15 years or so, I've been doing personal injury and workers' compensation. And so personal injury is mostly car accidents or what we call premises liability or slip and fall, where a person is injured in a store or in a commercial location. And then workers' comp, of course, is when you've been injured in the course of your employment, and that has to be handled within the workers' compensation system. That's not like a normal trial. You can't go to regular court. There's a whole separate court system for workers' compensation. So that's been my focus. I've been in the Richmond area since the 4th grade, and I graduated law school in 1994 and have been practicing ever since here in Richmond.
Hey, that's awesome. So there's like those are particularly some unusual areas that especially the workers' comp that they do come underneath the radar quite a bit. They're not like glamorized out in the news. You're not going to get like no big news story about somebody really being upset about workers' comp. But
unless you get hurt, and that's the thing. Everybody comes in and they can't believe what the laws are, and they can't believe how difficult it can be to bring a case, and they're surprised that the compensation is not higher. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Nobody cares about it until they're affected by it.
So what exactly got you into like this particular field, and like what made you kind of spark your attention, like, hey, this is what I want to do to like kind of give back to people?
Well, it's interesting that you said give back to people, because throughout my practice I've always represented individuals. I didn't go to law school because I wanted to represent corporations or businesses or just handle paperwork or something. I wanted to be in the courtroom. I wanted to do trials. So I started out doing criminal work, and I learned my way around the courtroom, and I had murder trials and drug trials and assault trials and all sorts of trials throughout the federal courts and the state courts in Virginia. And then I realized that, there's a lot of emotions